When the lights come on, she's ready to rise. Donnelly steps up with faith in her eyes. Puzzle pieces fitting, stars up in the sky. With every prayer and song, she'll make your spirit fly.
She's got the voice that can heal the soul. Singing, gaming, she's on a roll. Star Wars battles to her prayerful light. Donnelly's shining through the night. Shine on, Donnelly's, you light up the way. Singing, praying, bringing hope today.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on, Donnelly's.
You're our shining star. In the game or the prayer, she's standing tall. With every step, she answers the call. Blessings in her heart, light in her soul. With Donnelly's, we're ready to roll.
Raise your hands, feel the groove. With her faith and her love, you can't lose.
From the galaxy far to the prayers so deep, Donnelly's is the joy we keep.
Shine on, Donnelly's, you're the light we need.
With every song and every prayer you lead. From puzzles to the force, you're always on, Donnelly's. You're
we go. That should do it. All right. So, I was saying good morning, good morning. I apologize for the delay. We were moving stuff around, my dad and I, last night because we got fiber internet, but the way my house is laid out, it didn't reach my desktop. And so we moved the modem, or the computer itself, over to where I would be able to hopefully get better internet speeds, and I was not able to get better internet speeds. So thankfully for the next little bit, we still have our cable internet, so that should do the trick. And so it's been one of those mornings trying to figure out everything. We're gonna eventually move everything back to where it was, because that's A, where I'm used to having everything, and B, where all of my cords best to reach each other. And I think it's also going to be where the lighting looks the best. And so let me turn this a little bit so it's not quite as harsh. There we go. Lady Foss and Galaxy, thank you for the lurk. So thankfully we were able to figure out a way to make... Oh, okay. Music a little softer, mic a little louder. Alright, let's adjust that a smidge. Then adjust that a smidge. And there we go. Let me check and make sure something on my mic real quick. Are you able to? There we go. Oh, wow. That'll be like, hello. Let me turn this down a little bit, because now I'm probably way louder than the music. There we go. I think what ended up happening is that when I was moving stuff around, I bumped the little knob on the bottom of my mic. And so because of that, that may have... Oh, I'm too quiet again? Okay. I can turn it back up. I just didn't want to be too much louder than the music. But yeah, so we got fiber. We're working out all the kinks. We've got to get a extender of sorts to head back into the area where my room is. Well, this is true. I should be, the music should be something a little more in the background, but at the same time, I want you guys to be able to enjoy both, to me, that just makes the most sense. Because I love the lo-fi. And so, anyways, so hopefully once we get that all figured out, then I'll be able to, really be able to get some fast internet speeds, because when my dad was running internet speeds last night, when we were like out in the hallway, we were getting like 500 something download and 100 or 200 something up. It was amazing. It was crazy. Getting all caught up on chat here. The first TV deal you told about is gone. Lost Disney, ESPN, ABC, FX, and FXX. Was that supposed to be like... I'm not sure I understand FXX. I'm guessing FX is one of those, like... Because I remember there being like a movie channel or TV channel that was FX, but I don't remember any FXX. So anyways, thankfully we have our cable internet still for the next little bit. We're slowly making that transition over into the fiber internet world. So hopefully that'll make speeds even better than they were. And so yeah, hopefully that'll be absolutely amazing. And it'll work out really, really well. We're looking into possibly YouTube TV. Oh, no football. Hope they work it out. I do too. I definitely hope that as well. Let me see, because it definitely, let me see if I can do this and get a nice balance. It's my thinner top to monitor. We'll see how that light works. There we go. Haha, that actually does kind of look better. Anyways, so what have you guys been up to? Happy Reformation Day / Halloween. What do you guys have planned for today? I am hoping to swing by a friend's party. Oh, that's what YouTube TV just lost. That's what you got. Oh, okay. Huh. So then I wonder then if YouTube TV then might not be the route to go for us then. So Reformation Day is the day that Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther, the Catholic priest or monk, whichever one he was, he nailed the 99 Theses to the door of the church that he attended at the time, and it basically laid out all of his grievances with the Catholic Church based on his study of the Bible. Melanie, good morning. Happy Reformation Day. Happy Reformation Day / Halloween. And so when he nailed the 99 Theses to the door of the church, that was what started the Protestant Reformation and what started the Protestant Church. Okay, sounds good, Dusty. I'll bear that in mind. Good morning, West. How's it going, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Happy Halloween / Reformation Day. Legally, you're awake. You woke up topside. And that's what matters. So, this last week was busy. It was busy. So last week I took off of streaming because we had a local festival and Mom and I had a booth there. And it took us a good half the day between getting everything all set up and then festival events. And then Saturday was pretty much all day at the festival. Well, probably more like half the day at the festival. And then went and did a bowling event with my church. And so that was really, really fun. And then it was home. Actually, it was to a trunk or treat event. And then it was to the house. And to just rest. And so I am kind of still catching up on rest from last weekend. I sometimes feel like I'm doing well. For the first time in a long, in this last week, I feel rested. I got to bed on time. I made sure I'm working to make sure that I do not scroll TikTok, YouTube, etc. before bed. Because sometimes I tend to lay in bed and I'm just kind of like, oh, there's a fun TikTok. That's a fun TikTok. One more TikTok. Then an hour later, I'm still, half an hour later, I'm still doing that one more TikTok until finally I'm like, okay, and nod off. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't do that anymore. You're right. Bowling is a blast. I love bowling. It is so much fun. I'm in an amateur league, and so I bowl every Sunday. And then sometimes my church will have different young adult bowling events and other young adult events. And those are really, really fun. I enjoy them. And this last Sunday, my team actually had what we call a bye week. So we didn't play against anybody, which is ironic because the team that we named our team after also had a bye week. And so it was almost like they looked at the schedule and said, oh, the team they named themselves after is having a bye week this week. Let's give them the bye week this week. And so we finished up early, so I was able to go catch the majority of Bible study, and we're doing series on church history. And so we're learning all about like the Catholic Church and all the other different parts of Protestant history and Orthodox history, and figuring out, how did all of that come together? Where do we diverge? Where do we come together? And so it's really, really cool, and it's fun. One of the fun things that I noticed was that where a lot of what the Catholic Church was doing as far as like the stained glass windows and things like that, they were attempting, or at least whether intentionally or unintentionally, making it where those who couldn't read could somewhat follow along. And so what they could do, because all of those stained glass windows are actually from the Bible. They're stories from the Bible. And so somebody who knew what the priest was saying, if the person who couldn't read said, "Hey, can you point to which one it is?" They could be like, "Oh yeah, it's right there, that one." And so it allowed them to have access to it, which was so cool. And so while there's beauty there, it also made the Bible more accessible to them, which I loved. And so we can pull from that and love that. And it's also, but also, we don't want it to be too distracting. We want people to be paying attention, especially now that more people are able to read and understand what's being said. People are like, because back then the priests would only speak Latin. Very few people knew how to speak Latin. And so, it was one of those things where, they were trying to, the stained glass windows helped make it accessible, but they also could be a distraction from what the priest was saying at the same time. So we're trying to balance that, because one of the questions was, which is better? Is it better to have, these ornate, visuals, or is it better to have it be more simple? Because a lot of the more low church Protestant, as we call it, so you got like your high church, which are the more Catholic light, like the Anglican, Episcopalian, all of that, they tend to be a little bit more ornate in their decorations, whereas your low church, like Baptist and a bunch of others, non-denominational, they tended to be a little more simplistic in the decoration, in the decorating around the walls and everything. So it's a balancing act between making the church look welcoming, accessible, clearly a church, while not being too distracting. And so, because I brought up the point that in our kids department, we have what we call the yellow room, and that's where the kids go for their main area. Like, that's where they go for worship, and then they go into their separate grade level classrooms. And so they'll get like the gist of the story in the yellow room. They get their singing and worship time in the yellow room, but then they go into their separate grade level classrooms and get the lesson at a grade level, appropriate level, and get to go into more detail and do different grade level activities. And so in our yellow room, we have basically a map of the Bible that wraps around the room. When I'm doing Awana, when I'm giving the Bible lesson, I'm able to point to where in the timeline that is, and they're able to have at that kid level a visual of where are we at in the story as a whole. And so it's definitely a balancing act. And so it also helps make it accessible for the younger ones who are still learning how to read. But at the same time, I'm also speaking English, instead of some other language that they don't speak, I might need to lower the vocabulary level to meet them where they're at. But at the same time, that's completely different than speaking a totally different language, you teach songs to your kids in your primary room, then they go to age-appropriate classrooms also. That's so cool! I love that. For ours, they tend to, they do video worship, and so they'll have different leaders leading in the videos, and then they get a person who gives the gist of the lesson. The kids department director will give, some discussion questions and lead that discussion, and then they go, all right, now 1st through 3rd grade, you go into this room, 4th through 6th, you go to this room. And then they get to go in and hang out with their teachers and classmates, and then they're good. Then they get picked up. So it's really, really cool. I like the way that our kids department does it. I do, however, wish that we had a little bit more differentiation between 1st hour and 2nd hour, because a lot of the same kids are in both hours, especially the younger kids. And so while it's good that they're getting the story multiple times, at the same time, if one was maybe a little more worship oriented, and then the other one was, hey, let's do maybe 1 or 2 songs, and then, then go into the different classrooms, whereas that could be 1st hour of a couple of worship songs, get the gist of the story, go do your class level activities, and then 2nd hour could be maybe like a kids choir rehearsal, or worship and then group activities like games and stuff like that to get their energy out that are based on the lesson from the day. That could be good. And then the kids aren't getting, because a lot of our older level, upper grade level kids are kind of like, yeah, I've heard this story already today, and they kind of tune it out. Whereas if there was a little more differentiation, then they're getting that same story in multiple different ways, and then they might actually retain it more. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, so then the last couple of weeks, my coworker's been on vacation, so I've been holding down the fort at work. And so that's been really, really fun, getting more to do. And then come home, do, all different schoolwork. I've been learning Linux. Still, up until December, I will be learning Linux until winter break. And so then I'll be learning about different kinds of networks and computer parts and things like that. So that'll be really fun. And then next thing is, let's see, tomorrow is going to be stream as normal. And then it'll be heading out to D&D. So that'll be fun. And today I'm going to be getting laundry done. I need to get laundry done. I need to. If you could see my basket, you would see how full it is. It needs to get done. You have 1st hour where it's main church worship, where you as a family sit together and worship. You like this because the children learn from the examples of their families. Then 2nd hour is primary, where the first half hour is kids chorus and worship. You generally have them do fun jumping songs to get their energy out. And then the last half, they go to their age-appropriate classes. That's cool. I actually really like that idea. For us, we would have to reverse it because we only have one service in that 2nd hour, or what we call our 2nd hour. And so 1st hour is their Sunday school, and then 2nd hour is where we get to go to what we call big church or main service. So I think that would be really, really good for especially the 4th through 6th to be able to sit through. But what's really cool is our kids director is really, really good about if she knows that there's a baptism, or if she'll coordinate with the pastor at different times throughout the year for the kids to come in and see how the church service looks and have them sit for part of it, and then they go back and do more, their age appropriate Sunday school kind of thing. And so that's really, really cool. But I do agree with you that we need that more for the kids to learn from the example of their families and saying, this is how we behave in main service. This is how we behave in big church. And so I think having that for our second hour, especially for our upper elementary, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. It would take a little bit of our congregation getting used to doing that, because for years we've had kids church, you know? For years we've had that as an option. And so the parents are kind of used to, for the most part, I go to the main service, my kids are getting their Sunday school lesson during the time that we're in church. When we had two services, a lot of times the one service would be more hymns and choir oriented, and the second service would be and that is true. That is true. And that's actually, a lot of times we have different teachers for, and that's why we want a rotating basis, because a lot of times for our second hour, that's what we do. That's what we do. Spark, good morning! Good morning, good morning! How are you? It is. It really is. Thankfully, for second hour, we have a pretty good rotating basis. It's actually more first hour that we've had issues with finding people even once a month. It's so weird, you know? It's like you would think that they would want to, you know, help out, you know, first hour and, you know, once a month, miss their Sunday school once a month, but get to go to the main service. But they would rather miss main service once a month. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm armchair quarterbacking, but we seem to have a pretty good rotating basis for the elementary school second hour. And so that's pretty good. That at least is pretty good. So then they only miss once a month. But I'm doing well. For the first time all week, I feel rested. I was able to get to bed on time. I was able to make it where I got a full night's sleep. Last week I've been waking up randomly in the middle of the night. And I don't know why, and so I'll just kind of pray until I fall back asleep. Sure thing, Sam. Sure thing. So I'm doing pretty well overall. Overall, yes. Gonna be getting laundry done today. Possibly heading over at least for a little bit to a friend's Halloween party. So that'll be fun. Cause it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to be able to go to that party, but I also want to be able to see the, you know, and hand out candy to the neighborhood kids. Cause I'm pretty sure that one of the families from church that lives fairly close might come by, and so I want to be there when they get here. And so it's all good, it's all good. Trying to just balance it all, you know what I mean? So we've been going for nearly half an hour, a little over. So that is exciting that we have had so much to catch up on. And we got a history lesson on the history of the Protestant Church. We got a history lesson on Martin Luther and the 99 Theses, which I love. That is actually one of my favorite parts of church history, because it shows that it's okay to call out, you know, what we see in the church that isn't correct, and how to do it properly, you know? And so, yeah, if you guys have any prayer requests, I know Sam is going to be posting one. If you guys go ahead and type those in, or use the channel point redemption, I will see those prayer requests and we're going to go into a time of prayer. Okay. So what have you decided? I need to blow my nose real quick. Let me find that Kleenex box because it got a little buried in all the moving around. Hold on a second, guys. There it is. There we go. That being said, by the end of next month, you'll be getting out of hospice, and rather than having surgery and stuff, you've decided to give time to think and say no to it. Live life the way you want and just go with dignity rather than be in constant pain. That makes sense. That makes sense. You know, sometimes that's the best way to do it. I know that others might not agree, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you have to weigh the quality of time. And it's not that you're saying no to life, it's that you're saying, I want to make the most of the time that's left, and I want to be able to enjoy what time I have left. And I know that can be hard. I know that can be hard for some to accept, because that would be hard for me to accept hearing from somebody that I love and care about, that I'm super duper close to. But at the same time, I have to accept, you know? And so I'm sorry to hear that the cancer is back. I'm sorry to hear that you don't have as much time as you'd initially, that you'd hoped to have, but I'm glad that you have more than they initially thought. So that's good. And I totally understand not wanting the surgery. I totally understand that. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and pray, and then we're gonna dive into some more Caller X Malice. Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for who you are and how much you love us. I ask that you be with each person here, whether they're lurking, whether they're active in chat, whether they're going to come later, whether they don't come at all, Lord. I ask that you just be with each and every one of us. I ask that you be with Sam, with the limited amount of time that the doctors have given her, Lord. I ask that you just be with her and help her be able to just enjoy life and to get closer to you in this time, Lord. I ask that you be with lady foes and Adaphos and sweet little baby foes, Lord. I ask that you just bless them and keep them and bring them closer and closer to you every day. Give them energy to get everything done that they want to get done. I ask that you be with Spark and her family. I ask that, I know that her little one wasn't feeling good recently. I ask healing for him, Lord. I ask healing over everybody in her house, Lord. Just protection from all the illnesses going around, Lord. I pray for Kishu and Shopkeep and their family, Lord, that you just continue to bless them, help them to thrive, Lord. I ask energy for them. I ask that you just give Shopkeep favor with his work, Lord, and help him be able to get the raise that he needs and deserves, Lord. Thank you that his boss is on his side, Lord. I ask that you just continue that, Lord. I ask that you be with Soul in an Earthsuit, Lord. I know she was telling me last night that she has an exam today that she's really nervous about. So I ask that you be with her. I ask that you keep her calm. I ask that you just bring to remembrance everything that she's learned, Lord. Help her to see that she remembers more than she thinks that she does, Lord. And I know that in test anxiety situations that can be hard to believe and to remember, Lord, but just be with her, Lord. Be with her dad. Help her after graduation to be able to quickly find a job. I know that with today's job market, people are looking and looking for jobs, and it's just gotten harder and harder to find a job, Lord. So I ask that you just bless her, Lord. Be with Dusty Disciple. I know things are super duper stressful for him right now. I ask that you help him be able to get his football back. Help him be able, and all the others who are affected by the government shutdown, Lord, to be able to get the things that they need, Lord, and the programs that they need. Let this government shutdown end soon, Lord. I ask that you be with just each and every person here who needs healing, whether illness or injury, Lord, that you just touch and heal them, Lord, in a new and mighty way. I ask that you be with those who are struggling mentally. I ask that you just show them who they are in you, Lord, and give them the tools that they need to be able to live life the way that you want them to, Lord, that you have called them to. I ask that you be with my sister and brother-in-law, Lord, as they are adjusting to life in their new city, and that my brother-in-law had a migraine yesterday. I ask that you remove that migraine and help him to get back to 100% quickly. I ask that you just be with all the Christian streamers here on Twitch. Pastor Dustin, Kishu, Spark, Lady Foes, Adaphos, Bearded Beowulf, Lotu, Pastor Susie, Lux Digital Church, XP Gamer Church, Wolfler, all the other amazing Christian streamers here, Lord. That you just be with them, guide and direct us, Lord, as we just try to be a light in this dark place, Lord. I ask that you be with each and every person here and just keep us all close to you, Lord. I ask that you be with Sam. I see that she said a major blood test today to check for further complications, Lord. I ask that they are I ask that the results are what you want them to be, Lord. Let them show answers and give the doctors wisdom, Lord. And I ask that that the doctors might be understanding of Sam's decision, Lord, to not get surgery. I just ask for wisdom and understanding, Lord. Give us a fun time of fellowship today, and in your name I pray. Amen. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause the music. And then we're going to change the category. Come on, mouse. There we go. Oh, come on, OBS. There we go. Change category. Perfection. You've been through so many surgeries, and at first you thought, what's one more surgery gonna do? And then you felt like you're giving too much expense for your sister. She's the least support you have right now. That's understandable too, that there's a whole lot to consider in this whole thing. you know? There's a lot of different factors. And, you know, you also have to consider what happened last time, you know? You've got to consider that there's all different factors to consider in regards to that. Okay, come on. There we go. Perfect. There's finances, there's the recovery, there's all different kinds of things. There we go. That's what we want. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then we get that. Perfect. Wow. We gotta go. We apparently bumped the down arrow quite a few times. There we go. We left the jail and walked side by side under the night sky. Are you going to meet Ogata in 2 days? Oh, so the last time we played, we went and talked to this guy Ogata, and it became very, very clear that he still harbors a lot of anger and malice towards the police for what happened to him with the false arrest. And so so he says, hey, we'll meet in 2 days and I'll give you more info then, kind of a thing. You're very welcome. I'm glad that we could be there for you.
もし尾形が完全な潔白だとしたら、警察関係者とはもう一切関わりたくないって思うのが普通だ。なのに、わざわざあっちから提案してきた。裏があるに決まってる。
Yes.
けど、危険が伴ったとしても、背を向けたら真実にはたどり着けない。だから。
Then I'll come too.
ダメだ。お前は来るな。
But why?
いいから、引き分けろ。
No.
先輩の命令だぞ。
I can't obey that order. Mineo and I were both unyielding as we both stared at each other. Why do I have to stay behind? Don't you? Oh. There we go. We could go with your partner on board. I like that. I like that one. I'm your partner, Mineo. Then...
だからこそ、お前を連れてきたくねえんだよ。
I don't understand. Why are you saying that?
なんでわかんねえんだよ。お前に傷ついて欲しくねえから来るなって言ってんの。
Huh? I looked into his eyes and he awkwardly averted his gaze. Soon Mineo looked up, untied his hairband, and then removed his eye patch. We get to see his full face! Mineo? Mineo took my hand and gazed into my eyes.
お前は思い出したくないかもしれないけど、あの教会で倒れてたお前と会わなかったら、俺は自分を責めてばかりで前に踏み出せなかったと思う。柳先輩は俺が自力で立ち直るのを静かに見守ってくれた。
Sounds good, Sam. We'll see you later.
タケルはあえてきついこと言って、俺
俺にやる気を出させようとした。白石さんは謎なとこあるけど事件のヒントをくれたし、ちょっとは俺のこと気にしてくれてたと思う。お前がいて、事務所のみんながいて、佐竹さんだって未だに気にしてくれてて、考えてみれば俺って相当恵まれてるよな。
I think that all your blessings are a result of your character. Even though they don't say it out loud to you, everyone believes in you, Mineo.
そうか、やっぱ俺は幸せ者だな。藤井先輩のことがあって警察を辞めて、目標も信念も打ち砕かれて、俺にはもう何も残ってないと思ってた。でもそんなことなかったんだよな。今も俺の手には大事なものがある。みんな俺にとっては大切だけど、お前は特別だ。
Huh?
誰かの真似したり藤井先輩に憧れたりしたのは自分に自信がなかったからだと思う。だけど今は昔より自信が持てるようになった。いちかが俺を変えてくれたから。
The serious tone in his voice forced me to keep my eyes locked on to Mineo.
俺は男だし、どれだけ傷ついても平気だ。でもお前に何かあったらって考えると、小林がお前に銃を向けた時も生きた心地がしなかった。相棒だからってのもあったんだろうけどさ。
Oh. He grips my hand a little tighter and he continues with determination in his voice.
いつの間にか自分よりも大事な存在になってた。俺のことを一番に考えてほしい。他の男に渡したくない。いちか、お前が好きだ。
Aww. His voice, which I'd become so used to hearing, sounded so different to me right now. But the meaning of his words soon made my heartbeat quicken. Oh, well, I could usually speak to Mineo without hesitation, but for some reason I was at a complete loss for words right now.
お前ってしっかりしてそうに見えてそうでもないよね。
Huh?
危なっかしいし強情だし、衝突猛進で自分のことより他人のことばっか考えるし。でもそんなお前だから守りたいんだ。尾形が何を考えてるかわからねえ以上、お前にも危険が及ぶかもしれねえ。好きな女を危険にさらしたい男なんていねえよ。だからお前は来るな。いい。
When he said it like that, I had no response for him.
約束だぞ。じゃあな。
Oh. Mineo let go of my hand and dashed off at the same time. I could still feel the warmth from Mineo's hand grabbing mine. He said he loved me, that he wanted to protect me. I thought of Mineo acting so differently and it made me feel restless. Mineo. In the beginning, I stuck to him because I wanted to be his partner. But after I became his partner, I strove to become more dependable to him. He was older than me, but I felt like I could be myself when I was around him. He was very perceptive, and he noticed minute changes in people. And it just felt so natural to be around him before I'd realized it. And he just said he loved me. That makes me happy. Because that was the first thought in my head. I already knew what I should do. Should I respond right now? Oh, but I shouldn't do it over the phone. Maybe I can save it for the next time we meet. But how should I look? But will he really be okay going by himself? He said he didn't want to put me in danger, so he'd be meeting Ogata alone. I was happy he felt that way, but I should try telling him that I want to at least support him part of the way. But I didn't usually feel nervous around Mineo, but just the thought of him now left me confused as to what to do. What would he say if I told him that I also loved him? I want to tell him how I feel now. My breath was white as it left my lips, but I didn't feel cold at all. That I don't know. Let's see. Let me see. Maybe I'll try. Maybe it's the game. It might be the game. Let me check. I can try turning the game audio down. There we go. No, I don't think it's that. I think there's just a difference in the video game audio level versus the music audio. Ah, got dust in my eye. There we go. There we go. Oh, Mineo.
さっきからの百面相といい、星野に告白でもしたのか？
Oh, Yanagi is awesome and so perceptive.
なんでわかったんすか？柳先輩、エスパー？バカか。てめえの顔にデカデカ書いてあるんだよ。え、そんなバカな。尾形と会ったばかりなのに色ぼけ全開なんて。榎本くんっていい根性してるよね。すいません。ちゃんと報告します。
Enomoto is so funny.
わかってるっつな。
あいつと二人で揺さぶりをかけて尾形の様子を伺ったんだけど、俺の挑発に乗った反応を見る限り、尾形は限りなく黒に近いと思う。
5月の実行犯が捕まったからな。そっちの嫌疑が完全に晴れたことで気が緩んでんだ。やっと無罪勝ち取れるって時にホイホイバカの挑発に乗るくらいだ。予想以上に野良しっぽい。ま、勾留期間が長いからね。今まで平成を装ってたんだろうけど、ボロが出始めた。
That is a good point. That is a very good
正
point.
気が見えた瞬間こそ最大の隙になる。上げ足を取るにはちょうどいいタイミングだったと思う。
さすが白石さん、人を追い詰めるのに長けてる。
今のって悪口？
No, he's complimenting you. Shiraishi.
尾形との話の後で他に気づいたことはあるか？
あ、はい。主観ですけど、尾形はどこか開き直
That does say confidence. That is true. That is true.
何か裏がありそうだ。尾形が突き動かしているのは警察に対する復讐心だと思うんです。無罪を勝ち取ったからって簡単に消えるものじゃない。で、あえて相手の懐に
Dave, good morning. How are you? How are you? Congrats on second. Oh, it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
あいつは連れて行かない。
Which is perfect for Resurrection Day or Reformation Day slash Halloween. So far, so good. Hope you're doing well too. I was telling everybody earlier, I feel rested for the first time all week. I was having such a hard time staying asleep this last week. And so it was kind of weird. Like, and there was nothing really stressful or anything. I mean, missing a friend who ended our friendship a month ago, but other than that, there wasn't really anything like super duper stressful, so it was kind of weird that I would be waking up multiple times throughout the night. And so I would just, pray for a bit and fall back asleep. But last night was the first time in a long time that I A, got to bed on time, and B, slept a majority of the night. So that was always good. You had your first true cold front this week? Nice! My weather, let's check out my weather, because I'm pretty sure it is stereotypical back and forth weather. Currently 69 and sunny, high of 85, low of 56. We're going to be under 90 all week this week. That is fantastic. That makes me ecstatic. We got ads starting in less than a minute. Yeah, let's send those 80s and 90s to the dungeon, because they have no place here in the fall and winter. They've got no place here in fall and winter. Come on, Arizona, get it together, get the memo. Ooh, yes. So what's been your favorite tea lately? My favorite tea lately has been it's a local one, or at least it's one from a local shop called Honey Orchid. We've got ads going. I'm going to go into BRB. We'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, welcome back to the game screen. There we go. Mainly about hibiscus tea, mainly because caffeine free. That makes sense. Made some the other day when you went exploring to a Catholic bookstore and got into some shenanigans. Oh, what kind of shenanigans, Dave? How did you like the Catholic bookstore? Hibiscus tea sounds delicious. I love the more floral teas. I love and the berry-like teas. Those tend to be my favorites. Apparently you're never going to get smarter. You didn't think any of this through, says Sasazuka. You didn't plan anything out at all, continues Sasazuka. Sasazuka. You didn't spend too much money there, not at all, not at all. Right now, with your new journey into being Catholic, everything just fills you with that peace beyond all understanding, and it's just so reverent. That does make sense. That does make sense. I will say, the liturgy of the Catholic Church, that is definitely something that I'm intrigued by. Definitely. By chance, are there any Calvary chapels near you? Because I know Kishu goes to a Calvary chapel, and when I visited her for the first time and went to her church, I loved the way that her pastor went chapter by chapter, verse by verse. And so I'll tune into them every so often, and I love the Calvary Chapel method. I think that is really, really cool. The liturgy gets you every time, and since you're not confirmed yet and can't receive communion, the priest or deacons give you a blessing when you go up, and every time it wrecks you. I believe it. I believe it. Haven't looked for a Calvary Chapel, you found a parish that's like 3 miles from you that feels like home. Well, that's great. That is fantastic. Well, I'll be praying for wisdom for you, that as you go through this journey, that God reveals where exactly it is He's calling you. Because I definitely want you to feel like you are where God wants you to be, because that's where you're at your best, is when you are right in the center of God's will. That is right where we need to be, is right there. It's a beautiful journey, like it's the deeper side of your walk with God you've always wanted. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad to see that as you're studying, you're finding your walk getting deeper and deeper. And that is the best. That is the best. No, Enomoto, those good feelings weren't false. It was you misunderstanding their intentions. That's all. Oh, that's awesome. Is this the person that you were telling me about a little bit? Not trying to pry or anything, just I think that is so, so cool that you are able to have all those deep theological discussions and be able to just spend that much time in the Word. Oh, no worries. Is that the dear friend that you were telling me about? And I love that you guys are just diving so deep into the Word. I love that. And that is fantastic. And time spent in the Word is time never wasted, you know? Because the Word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the bone and marrow. And I love that. I love that you have such a deep friendship with them, with this person, that you guys can have those discussions, because sometimes it's not the most comfortable of conversations to have, but a lot of times once you start really diving deep and you can be like, okay, here's my interpretation of what we're reading, and then listen to their interpretation, and you can work together to find that common ground and see where you meet. Those are beautiful, beautiful conversations, and they can be very eye-opening. And I love those kinds of conversations.
なんでお前がそんなこと知ってんの？ひょっとして俺のために調べてくれてた？はあ、んなわけねえだろ。とか言いつつ調べてあげたんでしょ？そんな情報まず一般に出回らないもんね。
You've been reading through the book of Isaiah. Before that, it was the wisdom of Ben, is it Sirah or Surah? I don't know that I've heard of the wisdom of Ben Sirah. What's that one about? Surah. Okay. I don't know that I've heard of Ben Sirah. What's the wisdom of Ben Sirah about?
白石さん、冗談でもそういうこと言うと。おお、タケル、心の友よ。また調子乗る。
I love this. I love this rapport that they have in this game.
てめえ、優しいんだから。
Oh, it's not in most translations of the Bible as it was originally in Hebrew and not Greek. Interesting.
夜なバカ気色悪い。
Very interesting. Because I haven't really dove into the apocryphal books, like the Book of Enoch, Maccabees, all of that. It's in the New American Bible Revised Edition, though, which is what you use now. You no longer use the Passion. I am so glad you no longer use the Passion Translation, because that is, like, definitely not a good translation at all. I hesitate to even call it a translation. Slowly doing Maccabees on your own time, and whoa. Very interesting. I'm going to take a look real quick, because I happen to have the New American, let's see, which one was it? Or the New Revised Standard. Let's see, what was it called? New Revised Standard Version, NRSV updated. So let's see, I wonder if they have that. Oh, is it, there it is. I think I found it. Right between, it's like one of the 3 books that they list right between Esther and Jeremiah. Because I see Esther, and then Wisdom, Sirach, Baruch, and then the letter of Jeremiah. Very interesting.
大型の広範囲間で今後アドレスの動きが変わる可能性が高い。重要なのは大型が任意の味方につけようとしているって点だ。つまり今大型に下手な真似をしたらこっちの悪者にされちゃうってこと。
You think NRSV is a Catholic Church approved translation, but don't quote you on that. For sure, for sure.
大型要は正義になった者勝ちなんだって言ってます。誤認逮捕されて世間から拒絶された経験があるからこそ自分が正義だと世間に知らしめたいんだと思います。
それが大型の狙いだったんだろうね。この手のタイプはエスカレートしたら厄介だよ。
All right. Well, there we go. So I guess that would be the same one. Very interesting. I'll have to do some more research then into, what makes the, and see, that's what's interesting. That's what's interesting. Is that the updated edition includes, like on YouVersion, the updated edition definitely seems to include the ones that the Catholic Church includes. But then they have the New Revised, but then there's the New Revised Catholic Interconfessional. So I'm curious. Oh, come on. YouVersion is being really, really weird. Because when I go to the New Revised Standard, it's interesting because when I do the New Revised and not updated, then YouVersion keeps telling me this version or this chapter's not included, even though it's one that's in the Protestant Bible. Like, what the heck? And that's interesting because I'm like, I know that there was a lot of debate in the, in the different councils as to what should and shouldn't be included, and so it makes me wonder why they wouldn't have included it. Like, if there was questions of authorship, if there was, if it was one of those things where, because I know sometimes it was questions of authorship, sometimes it was the content didn't line up with the rest of canonized scripture, and so it was like, it makes me curious then as to why those particular books were not included. I returned to the police station and finished up the work I'd left before I headed home. Hey, it's Kazuki! Kazuki? Kazuki actually welcomed me. He never used to greet me when I came home before. After the ordeal at the concert, Kazuki was much nicer to me. But yeah, I'll definitely have to do some digging into that and see, what that... Oh, no, not at all. You are totally fine. I love these kinds of conversations. So it is all good. Because it's one of those things where I'm like, because then my brain starts going, okay, well, if this wasn't included in the Protestant Bible, there must have been a reason why the councils decided not to. And so then that makes me wonder, okay, what was their reason behind it? And so then I'm like, I will have to research this later. Mental note. Actually, it was more like our relationship had gone back to the way it used to be. Kazuki asking us a question? What? Like you want an allowance? Akito? Oh, he's here again. Next to Kazuki's sneakers were some shoes that I recognized. I thought he'd ask for permission for him to stay over again. Oh. That's actually a good idea. Get somebody else who has a good rapport with him and see if they might be able to. I don't mind trying, but do you really think he'd talk to me? What? Really? That sounds like the old Kazuki. Hey, that's mean. Huh? Huh? Kazuki? Yes. Welcome, Akito. Oh, I think he lost something in his room. He does that all the time, and then he ends up finding it in the laundry. Yeah, ever since the concert, I feel like our relationship has gotten a lot better. Akito? That makes sense. Oh, sorry. That was insensitive of me. Akito mumbled a little bit, and then he reluctantly spoke. Well... I'm sorry, that's a police matter now. I can't talk about that to the general public. Akito looks like he's really hurting, but I guess it can't be helped. If I suddenly discovered that someone I knew was murdering people, I don't think I'd be able to accept it either, right? What do you mean? I'm confused at Akito's serious gaze. Adonis says that they're going to judge the sinners in the country and to change Japan to help the oppressed. They might call it judgment, but what Adonis is doing is nothing but cold-blooded murder. The people who were killed were still people. They might have had family and friends. There's no way murder can be justified. And on top of that, I decided that I'd support Kazuki's dream. If Adonis gets their way, then Shinjuku will never be safe. I don't know what will happen on next day, but his dream's dead with Shinjuku like this. I definitely can't accept that. So in order to keep Kazuki's dream alive, I will stop Adonis.
お姉さんは和樹のことを本当に大切に思ってるんですね。
Of course, he's family. Oh, but what I just said is embarrassing, so would you mind not telling Kazuki I said that?
お姉さんの気持ちよくわかりますから。
Huh?
俺にも大事な家族がいるので。だから和樹のことも弟みたいに思えて他人事じゃないっていうか。
I see. So that's why he's always worried about Kazuki. Kazuki would probably say that he was the older brother out of you two.
確かに。
He's a bit stubborn, but he's got a kind heart and he cares for his friends. I hope you two stay good friends.
はい。ずっとあいつの夢を応援してます。お姉さん、ありがとうございます。俺、決めました。
About what? Were you hesitating on something?
進路のことでちょっと。でもおかげで踏ん切りがつきました。
I didn't really give out any advice, but it seems I was able to help. If there's anything else bothering you, just let me know. I'll help if I can.
はい。和樹にも心配かけちゃったみたいですしね。
Akito formed a wry smile as he looked over at the sleeve of Kazuki's coat. Kazuki is terrible at hiding. I started to stir restlessly and Akito just smiled. Since he was already here, Akito stayed for dinner.
なんだかいつもごちそうになっちゃってすみません。
アキト、気にすんな。今日は手抜きだから。
You didn't have to put it like that. I pouted a bit as I set out 3 plates of yakisoba on the table. Oh, yakisoba! So good!
毎日料理作るのって大変なんだから。和樹はもっとお姉さんに感謝しないと。
そういや、前に姉ちゃんが連れ込んできた男はオーバーなくらい感謝してたよな。
え、それって彼氏ってこと？
No!
そういう割に顔は赤いけど。もしかして。
お姉さん、その人のこと好きだったりするんですか？
Because he had just declared his love for me, my shoulders jerked.
前来た時も怪しいと思ってたけど、やっぱりか。
No,
しらばっくれようとしても無駄。本当は付き合ってんじゃねえの。
we're not dating.
じゃあ、告白は？
あ、その様子だと、ここ最近で告白されたか、したばかりとか。
Akito is way too sharp.
なんか読み切らねえな。今どうなってんだ？
Hey, let's stop talking about this. Your noodles will get cold.
中途半端なところでやめられたら気になるだろう。いいから開け。
Ugh. I melted under the withering gaze of the two of them and revealed that I was asked out.
つまり、お姉
Well, I guess that would be true.
でも榎本さんには返事してないんだろ。答えが決まってんなら今すればいいじゃん。
Right now? Well, wait, I'm not ready for this right now.
情けねえな。二十歳過ぎの大人が何やってんだよ。
But
素直に心配だって言ってあげたらいいのに。相変わらず和樹は意地っ張りだよね。
はあ？心配なんかしてねえし。その肉食わねえならもらうから。
ちょっと横取りするなよ、食べるってば。
their interest quickly changed to the meat I'd mixed in with the noodles. This is important to me, you know? I kind of felt sad as I started eating my noodles too. Yes, thank you for your opinion. Yes, goodbye. I put down the receiver and felt relieved. We'd gotten so many complaints recently, it feels uplifting when a call isn't one. Sometimes I would be yelled at the moment I picked up, so I still get nervous when I answer. Increased patrols on school commute routes. I wrote a report on the request and then heard heavy footsteps.
何かあったみたいだな。
Alrighty, sounds good, Dave. I hope that work is treating you well and that you get good sleep. Sleep well, my friend. Mochida looks up from the documents in front of him.
なあ、今そこで聞いたんだけどよ。アドニスってやつが今度は都庁に爆弾を仕掛けたらしいぞ。
Uh-oh. Huh?
それで被害は？いや、被害はゼロだ。なんでも事前に爆弾を仕掛けたが撤去してくれって連絡があったらしい。
So there wasn't any damage at all?
ああ、おかしな話だろ。
アドニスの名をかたったいたずらという線は考えられないか。
それが確認してみたところ、本当に指定された場所に爆弾があったんだとさ。
That's odd. So they planted it and then had the police remove it?
ああ、計画を変更したなら自分たちで撤去しそうなものだ。
That's a good question, Mochida.
連絡してきた相手の特定には至ってないみたいだな。
そうか。何にしても被害者が出なかったのは幸いだったな。
Yeah. I don't know what scale the bomb was, but just the thought of what could have happened if it exploded gave me chills. Still, maybe there was a reason why they canceled their plan in the middle. The SRCPO officer went back to his desk and I whispered over to Mochida. Mochida, doesn't this incident bother you?
ああ、12月の事件に規則性はないように見えたが、今回の事件は明らかにおかしい。
Someone in Adonis planted the bomb, but then someone else didn't follow the plan. It seems to me that there's some kind of rift in Adonis.
そうだな。11月までの X デー事件は統率が取れていたようだが、12月に入ってからは穴が目立つ。星野が言った通り、アドニス内で何らかのトラブルがあったのかもしれない。
But at the very least, the person who prevented the bombing had a conscience.
それでもアドニスの人間であるからには、アドニスの掲げる理念に共感したということだ。今回のことで、そいつらの罪が軽くなるわけじゃない。
Yes. I nodded and remembered the thoughts that Yanagi and the others had about Adonis.
おそらくは絶対的なカリスマが率いる組織、意思決定や犯罪計画もその中心人物がいてこそだな。向こうも一枚岩ってわけじゃねえ。トップのやつ、そいつ がどんだけすごかろうが所詮は人間だからな。神じゃねえ以上全てをコントロールしようとすんのは無理。
The attempted bombing this time around seemed like proof of a leadership failure. That means we found an opening that we can use to strike at Adonis. I should hear what Yanagi thinks later. With that thought, I turned toward my desk to finish up today's work. December 15 incident has been added to materials. Ogata's verdict would come down today. I'm so worried about the result that I can't concentrate on my work. There was also the Mineo issue. Ever since he told me about his feelings for me, I still haven't taken the opportunity to let him know how I feel. He told me not to come, but I can't just leave him alone. Mochida already gave me permission to leave early because I told him I was investigating. So I've got to focus and be extra efficient at work today. What was it? Not guilty. I see. The police tried to find solid evidence to incriminate Ogata, but they couldn't get the verdict to go their way. After the constant stream of X-Day incidents, the citizens are quite stressed out. If you add a report like that in, their opinion of the police will only worsen. Though we set up a point of contact prior to the announcement, our lines were already being pushed past capacity. I understand.
今のお気持ちを聞かせていただけますか？そうですね。私はただ彼女を助けたい一心だったのですが、警察の方々は何度話しても納得してくれませんでした。自白を強要されかけたという噂もありますが、前回と違い今回そういったことはありませんでした。前回というと2年前の誤認逮捕のことでしょうか？やっていないと言っても聞く耳を持たず、警察は私を犯罪者に仕立て上げました。そんな過去があってもなおストーカーに立ち向かわれた。大変な覚悟が必要なことですよね。そんな。私は当然のことをしただけです。警察に不当な扱いを受けたのは私だけではないはずです。私はそんな人々にこそ訴えたい。泣き寝入りをする必要はない。必ず悪には裁きが下る。これからはそんな時代になるはずです。
くそ、好き勝手言いやがって。なあ、タケルもそう思うだろ。仕方すんなよ、泣くぞ。
No.
うるせえな。こっちは自分の山調べてんだ。それよりそろそろ時間だろ。尾形にあっさり殺されんじゃねえぞ。
お前、きつなこと言うなよ。もう聞いてねえし、悪女のやつ。柳先輩も捜査で外に出ちまったし、白石さんの仕事だし、まあ何にしろ俺がケリをつけることだけどな。このま
Alright, you guys, I'm going to take a very, very quick bio break. I will be back in just a couple minutes. Alright, we are back. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. I finished up my work 30 minutes before the meeting with Ogata and left the station. Mineo should be on his way over there around now. I think the place Ogata said to meet was... the spot where X-Day all began. Oh. Ogata never mentioned the exact location. The place where X-Day started. That means the incident in April. The video played at Shinjuku Station. But in the conversation just before that, Ogata was saying something to Mineo about Fuji's body. The location should probably match both. That means it's... Alright, let's take a look at... Oh. So the video played at Shinjuku Station. They were talking about Fuji's body. It should probably match both. I'm gonna go with it's where Fuji was killed. The building where Fuji's body was found. That was where Adonis's judgments began. I thought that must be where Ogata meant, so I approached it while watching my surroundings. Huh? There's someone inside? I looked carefully at the entrance and... I immediately stifled the yell of surprise that I was about to shout. Yanagi? What are you doing here?
Enomoto から今日尾形と会うことが聞いていたからな。後ですから。お前。
He told me not to come, but I'm worried that Ogata may do something.
お互い榎本の身を案じてきたということか。今のところは何もないようだな。
I looked inside and saw Mineo and Ogata keeping their certain distance from each other.
これはあいつの山だ。俺たちは様子を見て何かあった場合に踏み込む。いいな。
Yes. We laid low to make sure the two of them didn't see us.
ちょうど6時か。面会の時にいた警察官は一緒じゃないのか。
あいつは現役だからな。年中暇な俺と違って忙しいんだよ。それがこんなところに呼び出して何を話そうってんだ。
君にとってここは忘れがたい場所だろう。慕っていた男が無残に殺された。遺体を見つけた時はさぞ絶望したに違いない。
そんなことを話すためにここを指定したのか。
I sensed the annoyance in Mineo's voice. He knew it was an attempt to taunt him, and he should be able to keep his composure. Ogata's purpose is to try and rub salt into Mineo's wounds here? A man that murdered to rehabilitate his image wouldn't have reason to do something like that after he'd been declared innocent. I discreetly stepped away and checked my phone. It's from Shiraishi. What could he want now? Hello? Huh? What do you mean? How did you know? Huh?
察しの悪いの。今まさに尾形と榎本君が話してる様子。それがリアルタイムでネット配信されてる。まあ音声は切られてるから何を話してるかはわからないんだけどさ。尾形が企んでたのはこれだったんじゃない。今のところただ向き合って話してるだけだから警察も動けないみたいでさ。ただ昼間の特番で尾形の顔は一気に知れ渡ったからね。しょうが
Maybe they're trying to use the videos like they did with the May incident.
能天気に考えればマスコミにちやほやされて恥を知った。自ら動画配信して知名度を上げたい。そう。つまり彼なりの狙いが必ずある。榎本君を利用して視聴者に何か伝えたいんだ。このやり方で効果を得る何かをね。
His motive.
ま、伝えるだけ伝えたよ。あとは頑張って。
Oh, wait. He hung up. I put away my cell phone and moved back to Yanagi. Yanagi, Shiraishi called and wanted to tell me something. It seems that Enomoto's conversation here is being uploaded to a video site. I search for it on my cell phone and quickly navigate to the site. It seems that the sound has been purposefully cut off. Ogata may be using this video to try and get a specific message across to his viewers.
今なんつった？
I looked inside with Yanagi and we saw Mineo clutching Ogata's collar.
聞こえなかったのか。藤井は自分の利益のために私を利用しようとした悪夢。あんな奴を慕っていたなんてどうかしてる。君もいざとなれば誰かを利用してのし上がろうとするに違いない。それが怖くて警察を辞めたんだ。
違う。俺は。
ああ、そうか。ならば逃げなんだ。逃げることで藤井がやったことから目を背けようとした。本心を言い当てられたから私につかみかかった。そして今答えに詰まっている。それが何よりの証拠じゃないか。警察の掲げる正義など脆いものだ。信じる方がバカもいる。X デー事件が始まってからというのも被害を食い止められた。食い止めるどころか被害は増すばかりじゃないか。政府が我々に護身用の銃を与えたのは警察を見限るためだ。今の我々には武器が悪を裁ける武器。もちろん一般人となった君も持っている。
だったらなんだ。
君は私を悪だと思っている。ならばその銃で私を撃つのだ。
何言って。
君は私に正義を語るお前を追い続けると言った。凶悪なストーカーから命がけで女性を助けた私を悪と決めつけたんだ。そこまで言うなら私の命を奪い自分の正義を証明するとね。君の行いが正義ならば誰も咎めはしないだろう。
そんなことで人の命を奪えるか。罪人を裁くのは俺じゃない。
もっともだ。君はまた逃げるのか。口では私を悪と糾弾しておきながら実際に裁く度胸がない。さすがあの藤井優太の後輩だ。師弟は似るとよく言ったもんだ。結局君の正義などその程度ということだ。違うというなら証明してみせてくれ。この私を。
Mineo lets go of Ogata and reaches for his holster. What? No, he can't! Before I could think, I was already running inside the building. Mineo!
いつかお前なんで
You can't draw your weapon. Ogata's trying to...
榎本の私は藤井に殺意を抱いている
Okay, thank you, Dusty. I'll take a look at that in just a little bit. As if trying to goad Mineo, he continued to berate him.
あんな男も死んで当然
Mineo, no! But Mineo still didn't draw his gun. Instead, he swung his fist with all of his hatred. I was unable to stop him in time, and his fist barreled into Ogata.
お前が藤井先輩の殺害を頼んだんだな。認めろ。
Sounds good, Dusty. I hope that everything works out, that you're able to get your football back, that all the things that you're counting on come to pass.
思った通りだ君にはやはり利用価値があった
The exchange between the two of you is being uploaded to a video site. So this whole thing is... Ogata stood up on wobbly legs and flashed Mineo a smile.
ああそうだ君は見事に証明してくれたその姿正義をねじ伏せようとする悪そのものだとな
You haven't proved anything other than the fact that you goaded him into punching you. You made him upset. He's not taking anything other than his anger at you goading him by admitting that you killed the guy that he admitted that he admired and followed and was the protege of. That's not exacting justice. That is reacting out of anger.
君の経歴もマスコミにリークしてやる正しい行いをしたというなら胸を張るといい第三者が君を正義と認めるかは甚だ疑問だな
Ogata shut off the camera that he had set up and left the building with a satisfied smirk.
榎本
柳先輩。すいません。俺、取り返しがつかないこと。
笹塚からなお前が尾形を殴った動画が拡散されていると連絡があった。ライブハウスで小林を逮捕する際に居合わせたものが情報源だった。お前が発砲した瞬間の写真もネットで出回っているらしい。
He only fired his gun to prevent any more victims.
分かってる。榎本のことをよく知る者はそう解釈する。だが
事情を知らない奴からしたら、俺が女に容赦なく銃を撃ってるように見えるんですよ。
But
自業自得だからよ。
but
こうなってみて、大型の言ってた意味が分かった。正義になった者たちって、こういうことだよな。世間
everyone just starts believing the lies that have been spread about you.
事実俺は暴行罪で訴えられても文句は言えねえんだ。どんな理由があろうと犯罪は悪って言っといてバカすぎだろ。
Giving things proper context can change how people view it. Exactly. Context is key.
俺がいくら弁明したって誰も聞く耳持たねえ。なんせ俺が殴ったの命がけで女を助けた男だ。
But that's not the truth. Ogata's part of Adonis, and
たとえそうだとしてもそれを証明する手立てがないんじゃどうしようもねえだろ。悪い。今はダメだ。頭の中がごちゃごちゃで。柳先輩もすみません。しばらく一人にしてください。
わかった。星野、行くぞ。星野。
I understand. I followed Yanagi, but I just had to turn around and look one more time.
正義を見誤ってたんじゃ世話のねえわ。
He made a fist out of disgust, and I couldn't find anything to say. Disgust. I can't believe this is how Mineo's creed has become distorted. Someone I love is in immeasurable pain. Yet, I'm powerless to help. Ad starting in just a minute. Oh, it's already morning. I laid in bed, but I couldn't sleep much because I was so worried about Mineo. Now more than ever, I needed to just sink my concentration into my work. Unfortunately, I was off duty today.
ため息ついてんのは榎本さんのことが心配だから。
Kazuki?
朝飯いつも作ってもらってるからたまには俺がやってみる。
Huh? What? Kazuki? You know how to cook?
バカにすんなよ。家庭科で習ったから簡単なもんなら作れる。
Hey, how's it going, Joe boy? It has been a minute. Hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, we'll be back after ads. Alright, thank you guys for hanging out in ads. How's it going, Joe boy? It's good to see you too. Hope you're doing well. he certainly wasn't all talk. There's rice, miso soup, and a fried egg on the table. Oh, that sounds amazing! That sounds like a fantastic breakfast. Stream hoppin', I like it, I like it! Who've been some of your favorites lately? Plus, they all look really good.
帰ってきてからろくに飯食ってなかっただろ。
Oh, you noticed?
まあ、俺も例の動画見たし。でも、あんなの相手の男が榎本さんを怒らせるようなこと言ったんじゃねえの。
How did you know?
音声が切られてるのって明らかにおかしいだろ。それに、榎本さんはわけもなく暴力振るう人じゃない。
Kazuki.
昨日一色さんからも電話来たけど、俺と同じこと言ってた。花に発砲したのを警察がもみ消したのは完全にデマじゃん。信じる方がどうかして。
Yeah. As Kazuki noted, observant people were going to notice the suspicious aspects of the video. But I couldn't deny that there were many people who would assume that Mineo was the villain.
ところでさ、姉ちゃん榎本さんに告白したわけ？
Huh? Oh, no, I couldn't contact him for a while, and then this all happened.
いい大人が何ちんたらしてんだよ。こういう時こそそばにいてやるべきだろ。
Ugh.
飯食ったらすぐに出かけろよ。見ての通り自炊できるし、俺のことは気にしなくていいから。
But
くどい。おせっかい焼くな。俺より榎本さんに比べよ。
what Kazuki is saying is right, so I have no argument for it. I guess this is Kazuki's way of showing that he's worried about me. Kazuki, thanks. He turned away, but I get the feeling that he was just being bashful. Which he is. Kazuki, our little bro. I stopped by the supermarket before I went to the office where I was welcomed by Yanagi. Where's Mineo?
奥で横になってる。昨日のことなら横で答えてるから。
So, he hasn't eaten breakfast yet?
朝食どころか帰ってきてから何も食べてない。どれだけ落ち込んでも食欲だけはあるやつなんだ。
Yanagi looks down at the bag from the supermarket I was holding.
ここはお前に任せた方が良さそうだな。頼むよ。
Not at all. Leave it to me. Yanagi nodded and then went outside with his coat. All right, let's start. No. Oh, good morning.
おはよう。なんで当たり前のようにお前がいいんだ。
I told you to stop by for a meal sometime, but I couldn't find the chance to invite you. So I decided to make a meal here instead.
なんつうかすっげえごちそうだな。しかも俺の好きなものばかりが。
Mineo, you love eating meat, don't you? Oh, I made pudding for dessert and put it in the fridge.
え、マジで？で、いや、悪いんだけどよ。今はプリンで盛り上がれる気分じゃなくてな。
Eating something nice will help you to feel better.
え、まあそうかもしんねえけど、さすがに今回ばかりは。
When I got out of bed this morning, Kazuki had made breakfast for me. I guess he noticed I was feeling down. Just a little while ago, that would have been unthinkable, so I felt so happy inside.
もう前みたいにわだかまりはなくなったみたいだな。
Yes, Kazuki and I can actually talk to each other right now, and that's all thanks to you, Mineo.
いや、俺は何もしてねえだろ。
Have you forgotten? When Kazuki said those hurtful words to me at the concert, you said that he came out to see that I was actually there with his own eyes instead of coming out to complain at me. After hearing that, it made me realize that Kazuki cared about me too.
大げさだって。あんなの見てりゃ誰でも気づくっしょ。
Because you said it out loud, I was able to believe it. When people poorly use their words, it can really hurt others. But there are a lot of good things that revolve around those words if you look. Everything that you see and hear isn't necessarily the truth. You have to open your eyes and decide for yourself what is really true. Until now, I've seen many of your facial expressions, Mineo. You've accepted your weakness, so I don't see you as a coward. The fear of being hurt is something that everyone in the world feels. Hitting Ogata was obviously the wrong thing to do, but no one can understand anything about you in that little video. You're 23, but you sometimes act as childish as a middle schooler. You hate carrots and love pudding. Part of me thinks you have the taste of a child, but...
俺ディスられてるの？
Mineo, you always try and act cool. You have a pure heart. You try to play strong, but when push comes to shove, you're not strong. You're reliable. And as a whole, I love you. I said I love...
また聞こえてる。
Good. This is my response to your confession.
つまり俺の彼女になってもいいってこと？
Yes.
彼女ってことはつまり膝枕をしてくれちゃったり、あんでご飯を食べさせ合ったりする。合わせたい関係。
Whether or not we'll do any of that is debatable, but yes, I'm familiar with how relationships work. Mineo?
俺は騙されないぞ。これは夢だ。
Huh?
心が弱ってるから、きっと脳内でお前に優しくされたいとか、そういうあれやこれが見せた夢だ。
This is reality.
嘘だ。あ、夢じゃないな。ひょっとして俺死んだんじゃ。
You're not dead.
いや、このふわふわした感じ、怪しいと思ったんだ。現実の俺は尾形に刺されるなりして若い命を散らせた。当たりだろ。
Jeez, cut it out.
ってことは、本当にこれは。
Thank Thank you for the lurk, Nanaki. I hope you're doing well. Is that enough to convince you that it's all real, Enomoto? I just confessed my feelings to you. It's annoying that you think it's all a dream. Yes, I do. But please don't go blurting it out like that. It's kind of embarrassing. Huh? Were you that hungry? Mineo puts his head in his hands and smiles. Let's just eat for now. I held out my hand as I said that. While he was still confused, he took my hand. I thought I may have made a bit too much, but Mineo finished everything. I'm glad you like it. That's not true. You've changed quite a bit, Mineo. Pain? Perhaps because he was reminiscing about that, Mineo looked pained. He couldn't even walk around town anymore. That was the result of what he'd done. Yes. Though the circumstances were different, the situation was similar to Ogata's. Mineo, you did this out of your own choice, but Ogata was framed, so he hurt more. Ogata does deserve some sympathy for that. But he forced Mineo to taste the same hatred by doing this. I don't know what Ogata is trying to accomplish. Mineo looked perplexed as he mumbles. If he intends to continue trying to exact vengeance on the police, this will never end. Rather, the longer he continued his quest for revenge, the more he'd get caught up in the past that he so badly wanted to forget. Mineo understood that, and he nodded at my words emphatically. Mineo looked at the fist he used to hit Ogata and seemed to be thinking of something. His eyes shone with a strong light. Even after being knocked down like this, Mineo still hasn't given up. This is the strength he found within himself when he overcame the issue with Fuji. I can't let him do all the work. What was he planning to do now that he had public opinion on his side? I still didn't have the answer, but we weren't going to give up yet.
なんか暗い話ばっかで悪いな。せっかく恋人同士になれたってのに。
After he said that, Mineo started to get restless.
二人きりじゃん。やばい。こういう時はまずどうするんだっけ。シミュレーションしてたのに飛んだ。
I'm happy to just be together. Should I take the initiative here? Let's watch TV together. How about we take a break and watch some TV for a bit?
おおじゃあ隣に来いよ。
Whoop, light's about to fall. There we go. Sure. Excuse me. I sat next to him, but Mineo was just looking at me instead of the TV. Mineo?
違うぞ。肩に手を回すシミュレーションをしてたとか。そんなんじゃないからな。
I rolled my eyes at him and Mineo started to get deflated. Dejected, Mineo picked up the remote control and started flipping channels. At this time, I'm pretty sure the only thing on is the news. I should have brought over a movie to watch from home. Great, I chose poorly. And now I must accept my poor life choices. I hope there's something uplifting on. While I was hoping for the best, I looked over at the TV screen. But instead...
2年前の誤認逮捕で私は人殺しだと世間から叩かれました。それが誤解だったとしても不名誉な形で私の名は知れ渡ったわけですからね。
Ogata? Mineo, let's change the channel.
いや、せっかくだからもう少し見てみます。
普通ならば一人息を潜めて生きていくと思うのでしょうが、私は違います。いつか私の正義の形を白日のもとにさらす。そう思っていたからこそストーカーにも同日に立ち向かえたのです。新宿は今一般人が銃を持つというありえない状況下に置かれています。ですがこれは万人に悪を裁く権利が与えられたとも考えられませんか。悪に屈し涙していた弱者も力を得た。あとは行動を起こすだけでいい。その勇気さえあればこの世から悪はいなくなります。悪を正すのは何も警察だけに与えられた特権ではない。現に世間を騒がせているアドニスも警察に成り代わり悪を裁いています。ここ数年不祥事ばかりを生み出す警察はもう信用するに値しません。昨べも私は元警察である青年に殴られました。
That's not true, and you know it, Ogata. I started to worry about Mineo's feelings, so I looked over at him. He had a bitter expression on his face, but he was still staring intently at the screen.
X デーに何が起こるのか。皆さん、不安な気持ちを抱いているのでしょうが、恐れることはありません。間もなく世界は変わります。これはいわば革命なのです。
So now he's letting his affiliation somewhat be known. There was no hesitation in Ogata's words. It's as if he knows what's going to happen on X Day. Just as that thought crossed my mind, Ogata disappeared and the screen turns black. Dun dun dun!
今の発言だけじゃ放送を差し止めるには弱いよ。
Yes, it wasn't like he revealed what his end goal was. I had an inexpressible feeling as I stared at the now blank screen.
この場をお借りして、我々アドミスが恐怖を与えた方々にお詫びいたします。
Huh?
誤解しないでいただきたいのですが、我々が裁くのは罪を犯した者たちである。良き人間は裁きの対象ではありません。今一度、自らの心に問いかけてみてください。己はこれまで誰かを傷つけていないか、誰かに悲しい思いをさせなかったか。来月の1月1日に X デイを迎えるのは周知の事実ですが、そこで我々は全国の犯罪者を一掃します。裁きの対象者には首輪をつけていますので、誤って対象者以外を消すことはありません。
What? So they assume that Ichika is evil? They just assume that? Collars.
法の穴をかいくぐり罪を隠した者、人を傷つけておきながらそしらぬ顔をした者に、我々アドミスが大いなる裁きを下します。また、近頃アドミスについて勝手なことを吹聴する輩がいますが、我々の意志とは異なります。そのことをどうかお忘れなく。裁きの日まで今一度お待ちください。
The words that I heard made me lightheaded. The collar, it's the mark of those being judged. When X Day arrives, I'm to be judged as a criminal?
お前、自分が犯罪者として殺されると思ってるんじゃないだろ。
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I twitched in reaction to Mineo reading me.
首輪をつけられたやつイコール犯罪者みたいなことを言ってたけど、お前は何もしてねえだろ。
I have not committed any crimes. But if your definition of crime is me hurting someone without knowing, I can't say... Even with Kazuki,
犯罪者のくくりが曖昧なのは否めない。けど、家族のいざこざなんて珍しいもんじゃないだろ。
That may be true. If that was enough to be called a criminal, then the entire world was nothing but criminals. But what if those people are rounded up as criminals under Adonis's standards? They wouldn't tolerate even small crimes if Adonis was judging people based on such ambiguous, arbitrary standards. I put my hand on the collar and remembered the pain I felt when the poison activated. I don't want to feel that pain again, nor do I want anyone else to ever feel it.
お前は犯罪者じゃない。根拠なんかなくたって俺が保証する。だから胸張ってろ。
Mineo. Those words filled me with courage. There wasn't much time left until X Day. I couldn't afford to burn it by being fearful. Yes, I'll do whatever I can now.
ああ、俺は尾形についてもう少し調べてみる。奴の本当の人柄を知るには足で情報を得るしかないからな。首輪を外す方法も本格的に探さないと。もう全国規模の問題だし、やり方は変わってくる。
He patted me on the back and I nod. I'm glad you're here for me, Mineo. I'd be so depressed if I were alone.
お前が俺を支えてくれた。
He put his hand over mine. Mineo waited a moment and then spoke. I tried to hold back tears as all the worry in my heart vanished. Thank you. Mineo nodded and smiled in response to the words that I blurted out. Possibly the final chapter? Ooh, are we gonna go see Sayaki? Ogata and the caller. Dwelling on something unanswerable wouldn't help. So we decided to change our perspective and went to visit Sayaki. I was right! Sayaki. Sayaki was breathing lightly in bed with his eyes still closed. He was still in a coma, so we were only allowed to visit him because we were with the police. Mineo had been coming to check on his condition every day. He felt personally responsible for what happened to Sayaki. Sayaki. He put his life on the line to save Kazuki's. I can't be weak-willed so that I don't let his sacrifices go to waste. As a police officer, I have to stand up and fight so he would be proud of me. I looked to my side and saw Mineo make a fist while looking at Sayaki. I was sure he was making a vow to himself to reignite his dedication. Oh, yes? Yes, I'm very sorry to intrude. I heard at reception that a family member donated a kidney. I wanted to greet them. Do they come by to visit him often? I see. We'd have to apologize and show our thanks to Sayaki's family sometime. Reluctantly, we both said our goodbyes and left Sayaki's room. Ogata's statement and Adonis's announcement had become an open dispute every time the topic was discussed on the news. Additionally, phone calls of people who agreed with Ogata and Adonis continually came into the SRCPO line. Mochida was taking the calls to SRCPO. He laid down the receiver while looking downcast. More and more people are calling who are siding with Ogata and Adonis due to their anger over X-Day. To be honest, I didn't think Ogata's words would influence so many people. Using their weapons to judge evil themselves. No matter how you try to rationalize it, there's no excuse to go around hurting others. Yes. During lunchtime, I was on the roof alone. Kobayashi murdered Fuji because he took away Ishiki's dream. Her actions can't be forgiven, but she definitely felt she had valid reasons. If that's the truth behind X-Day, then it wouldn't be unlikely that I'd get another order from the caller soon. I've been alone plenty of times, but Adonis never contacted me again. I can't just sit around waiting for a response. I'm scared, but I should try to contact them. I looked around to confirm that I was alone. I then tried to talk into the caller. The police officer murder case has been solved. I've also discovered that the incidents were a series of proxy murders done for revenge. What are you hoping to get out of making me learn all of these things? My body tensed up in preparation for a response from the caller. I wait, but I didn't hear anything from the caller, let alone a voice. The caller hasn't said anything to me in a while. Could there be a reason they're not responding? Or that they can't respond? Maybe they were too busy to watch over me, or their surveillance system wasn't working. If that was true, then I can do what I want. But even so, I couldn't be too optimistic. That also meant that the chances of me getting this collar off had decreased. What should I do? I still didn't know the reason why Adonis placed the collar on me, but at this rate, on X Day, No, there's no point in dwelling on the negative things I can't control. Mineo also said that we should try and affect whatever was within our reach. I can be depressed once I've done all I can. I left the roof and took a different approach. What I can do right now is get caught up on the investigation. HQ was currently investigating ex-cons and acquitted people since the announcement by Adonis. Now that it was discovered that they were operating on a nationwide scale, we didn't know just how many people they intended to execute. I didn't know how much had progressed since. I needed to speak with someone at HQ to get information on that. But SRCPO rarely gets to interact with upper management. Oh, Mochida! I was thinking about everything so much that I didn't even notice that Mochida was walking over to me. Are you heading out to lunch? This may be my opportunity. If you're just going to turn in the report, I'll go do it for you. Yes, I'm sure you're exhausted from dealing with the calls. No problem. I took Mochida's report and strolled over to Investigations HQ. I knocked on the door and entered. But the office was bustling with people making phone calls or writing on a blown-up map of Japan. They may be marking the map with people who have collars. If I head a little closer, I might be able to see how many people have collars. I inconspicuously gravitated towards the map when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Commissioner Minagishi. I straightened up my posture immediately and held out the report to him. I've come to turn in the report from the Special Region's Crime Prevention Office, but everyone here seemed so busy. Minagishi took the report from me and glanced at me. Apparently, Minagishi knew exactly what I was doing here. I apologized for getting nosy. I was out of line. Some people say that SRCPO is basically a dumping ground, but Minagishi thinks of us as a gear that helps move the police force forward. I believe that this is noted in his report, but we've received many calls about the callers in general. I thought that if I could understand the current situation of the investigation, I'd be able to respond to them better.
そうですね。こちらも情報がまとまり次第通達するつもりではいたのですが、正直なところ、首輪をつけられたものが全国にどれだけ存在するのか、まだ把握できていない状況です。首輪をつけたものを裁くと言っていたことから、おそらく首輪には毒か爆薬が仕込まれているのでしょう。
It seemed that they hadn't figured out the collar's mechanism yet. If it were poison, it might be some obscure or unknown type of poison.
アドニスは犯罪者の一掃を望んでいますからね。未知の毒を独自で作り出し、用いている可能性が高いでしょう。
Adonis made their announcement when Ogata was on TV. Even during the trial, Ogata's connection to Adonis could not be proven. But considering the timing and content of the announcement yesterday, doesn't it seem likely that they're connected?
もし尾形が駒である場合、うかつなことを話せば、小林花子と同様の処置をされるはずです。
That's right. Now that he mentioned it, Adonis just letting Ogata run free was a bit odd.
アドニスが行動を起こさない理由として、尾形が幹部クラスである。または何かしら方針を変えたとも考えられますが、今月起こった複数の事件から容疑者は挙げられているものの、アドニスの内情にはたどり着けていない状況です。
So we don't know where Ogata fits within the organization.
アドニスとの関与についても証拠は上がっていません。釈放後から尾形の動向も探っていますが、不審人物との接触も未だ見られず、我々にできるのは首輪をつけられた人物を特定し、保護と首輪の排除に努めることです。それすら全国規模の話ですから、一朝一夕でできることではありません。笹塚君レベルの能力を持つ人材がいれば、相応の進展が期待できるのですが。
I saluted the vexed Minagishi and exited the room. After I left Investigations HQ, I wondered what I could do to help. What I could do is look for people who have the same collar as I do. But if they're criminals, they wouldn't be living a normal life like I am. It'd be difficult to find people like that. It would be different if I at least had some kind of clue that would help. As Minagishi said, Sazazuka might be able to help out with the search. Since he quit the police force, Sazazuka might think it was troublesome to return. But right now, Sazazuka is the only one that can help with the current situation. I should try asking. After work, I left the station and headed to the office.
あれ君も今何
Shiraishi!
いつものんきな君にしては珍しく険しい顔してるね。何かあったの
He always blurts out such annoying things. I internally groused and looked around. We were far from the entrance, so fortunately nobody was around. You know the announcement Adonis made while Ogata was on TV yesterday? I think the collar they mentioned is the same as this one. I pointed at my neck over my scarf and Shiraishi nodded.
まあ普通に考えてそうだね。
So if X Day happens, then I'm going to die along with many others. We arrested Kobayashi, but there wasn't any reaction from the collar. I was talking to Minagishi at HQ today, and he said that Sazazuka would probably be able to find all the people with collars. I was planning on going to the office and talking to him about it.
君のことだから本気なんだろうけど、相変わらずだね。
What exactly do you mean by that?
アドニスが裁くって宣言したのは犯罪者だよ。自分のことを差し置いて助けたいって思うから。
Of course, Adonis's definition of criminals is too broad. I can't just watch them die. I have to help. If there are others out there who've been collared like me, I can't just let them stay that way. There might not be anything I can do.
首輪をつけられた人を見つけたいなら有力な手がかりがあるじゃね。
Huh? Shiraishi smiled inscrutably. Then he points at my neck.
作りが同じならたどり着くのは難しくないはずだよ。
That means...
本当に切ってお人よしだよね。
Huh?
考えなしで非効率で遠回りばかりして自分の立場を忘れて他人を気にかける。
But what's gotten into you all of a sudden?
榎本君と似た者同士でお似合いだって話。まあ、君たちもそのままでいいんだろうね。変わる必要なんてない。
Shiraishi?
まあ、頑張って。
Shiraishi patted me on the shoulder and walked off. That was weird. I stood still as I watched him go. I suddenly gasped and put my hand to my neck. If everyone has the same collar as I do, we might be able to take advantage of that. Sasazuka previously said it was made with a highly sophisticated system. Back then, we didn't know how they'd react, so we didn't try to check it too thoroughly. If we ignored all the risks and ran more tests, we might learn more. If it's being remotely controlled, it should transmit some sort of electrical signal. In that case, it might be possible to follow the signals to find other people with collars. I should ask Sasazuka about this. I quickly made my way to the office while feeling grateful to Shiraishi. On the way to the office, I paused by the Shinjuku train station.
先日あったアドニスの声明ですか。そうですね。私は法というのは曖昧なもので、本当の悪を野放しにしていると感じています。アドニスが犯罪者を裁いたことで救われた人間もいたのではないでしょうか。4月に拉致された警察官は予告動画で罪を公にされていました。あれが真実ならば、行方不明となっている警察官3名も裁きの対象となるでしょう。もし彼らをあのまま野放しにしていたら、彼らに傷つけられた人々が救われない。皆さんもそうは思いませんか。
話すのは極端だけど、わからなくはないよね。
これが間違ってるって言えるのは傷ついたことのない人間じゃない？
一見まともなこと言ってるようだけど、武力で人心を支配しようとするとかどうかしてるだろう。
Yeah, that is kind of insane. I'm with you, Salaryman A.
悪の定義なんて曖昧だし広いし。
Yeah, Salaryman B. I'm with you. I'm with you guys. Opinions are tossed about in the night. Even the people on their phones stuck out to me. I did a search for Ogata on my cell phone and find pockets of the internet that agreed with him. My boss is harassing me at work. He's my boss, so I can't say or do anything. But everyone knows that he's evil. I don't think it's wrong for him to be judged. I'm being bullied at school. I couldn't tell anyone and considered unaliving myself. So doesn't this mean the bullies are definitely evil? They've done enough to be called that. They should be judged. They don't deserve to live. People who felt persecuted were expressing support for Ogata's views. Evil exists everywhere. If all evil people died, life would be better. Some people even felt that Adonis had given them a chance to rid society of evil. This can't be allowed. Unable to tolerate the atmosphere, I sprinted off. Yeah, go talk with Sasazuka. I arrived at the office and Mineo welcomed me with a worried look.
ちょうど連絡しようと思ってたんだ。外寒かったろ。あったかいもの入れてくる。
Thank you. His caring expression looked painful. He must have been worried about me and the collar. Mineo disappeared into the kitchen, so I looked around the room. Yanagi was looking through a newspaper article about the incidents. Sasazuka was at his own seat researching something. Sasazuka? I came to the office to ask you something about my collar. If we isolate the signal from the collar and track it, won't we be able to locate the whereabouts of the other people with collars? Sasazuka stopped typing the moment those words left my lips. If it's possible that would work, then I'd like to try it.
何言ってんだよ。
I turned around to see that Mineo had rushed in with a troubled look on his face.
前に首輪つけたやつが言ってただろ。アドミスにとって不利益だと判断したら、お前を殺すって。
I know that, but
ホスト、俺も榎本と同意見だ。
Yanagi quietly spoke as he looked at the collar on my neck.
その首輪の毒に苦しんでいるお前の姿を俺たちは目の当たりにしている。死のリスクが伴うことをやらせるわけにはいかない。
I knew that Mineo and Yanagi both cared deeply for me. If they just wanted to find Adonis by whatever means necessary, then they wouldn't have stopped me. They're prioritizing my life here. I should be thankful for that. Because I knew that, that just pained me even more. I know that there is danger, but if there is a possibility...
ダメだ。お前が死ぬ可能性が少しでもあるなら、そんなことさせられるわけねえだろ。
Mineo experienced Fuji's death, so he knew all too well how it felt to have someone close die. I knew that he would oppose it, but even so... He's even more worried than when we first started to investigate the collar. Back then, we'd just met, and I didn't know whether I should trust you or not. But now, things are different. There's nobody better equipped to handle this than Sasazuka. I think there's a good reason to try this now.
たく、目の前でくだらねえもん繰り広げんな、バカっぷり。
くだらねえだと。ふざけんな。こっちは真剣な話してんだぞ。
真剣も何も、お前は俺がこいつを死なすようなヘマすると思ってんのか。柳さんもだ。誰かを傷つけないための選択が必ずしも正しいとは限らない。時には勝負に出なきゃなんねえ時もある。それが今なんじゃねえの。
なんでそんな冷静なんだ。勝負に出て、こいつにもしものことがあったら。
根拠もなく賭けに出ようってんじゃねえ。タイミングと条件が揃ってるならって話だ。おい、バカ猫。俺たちがいない間に首輪から何か指示はあったか。
No.
この会話も聞いてるはずなのに何も言ってない。調べたところであっちに痛手がないか、バカ猫への監視が機能してねえって可能性もあるな。
おい、犯人を刺激するなよ。あっちの状況もわかんねえのに。
文句があるならもうとっくにしゃしゃり出てるだろ。実際最初に首輪を調べようとした時はそうだ。
He makes a good point.
アドリスが内輪で混乱してるのは確実だ。何らかの理由で首輪から注意がそれてるなら、前より細かく調べられる。
Really?
つっても、どこまでがセーフなのか境界線はあやふやなままだ。もちろん程度は俺も見極める。
I trust in your skills, Sazazuka. I can't just do nothing and let people become victims on X Day. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die fighting.
バカ猫は覚悟決めてるみたいだな。で、二人にどうする？まだ反対か？
こいつに辛い思いなんかさせたくねえ。絶対に嫌だ。こいつが覚悟決めてるのに俺が弱腰になるわけにいかねえだろ。
いいか、エノ。
はい。こいつの覚悟、正義、守りたいものを俺は誰より知ってる。それを否定するのだけは嫌。
Mineo,
星野も榎本も誰かのために自分のできる限りのことをしようとするところはそっくりだな。
Yanagi squinted at us and then turned to Sazazuka.
笹塚、頼めるか？こっちは最初からそのつもりだ。バカ猫、そこに座れ。
Yes. I sat down on the sofa and Sazazuka typed up something on his computer. Right next to him, Mineo watched everything and swallowed hard. It's okay. I'm sure Sazazuka will be able to do this. My entire body was all tensed up, prepared for any emergencies, but unexpectedly, Sazazuka's hand stopped. Maybe he'd found something, or perhaps he'd been stopped by the caller's security measures. I stopped myself from peppering Sazazuka with the numerous questions I had and looked at him.
首輪を管理しているデータをたどって大元のシステムに入り込むことはできる。
Really?
アードニスが妨害してこないってことはシステムを乗っ取ることもできるのか。
この手応えだと不可能じゃない。ただ何か懸念点があるのか？まずセキュリティを突破するにはそれなりに時間がかかる。
However, that means the data that's being protected by all that intense security must be really important.
まあ、大元のシステムを乗っ取って首輪に関するデータを書き換えれば。
首輪を外すことも可能。そういうことだよな。
ああ、
Mineo's always interrupted by Sazazuka every time he is about to say something important, but today was different.
ずっと気になってたんだけどさ、4月に拉致されたのって藤井先輩だけじゃないの？
He nods in response to Mineo's words. There were 4 people in that video. Though it showed them all being shot, Fuji was the only one found at the scene. The other 3 still have not been seen again. The bloodstains meant they weren't killed there. The search for them was ongoing, but they didn't seem to have any real leads.
隔離措置が取られる前だったからな。新宿の外に運び出された可能性もある。
If we can narrow down the range a little, we could do a search. But because we didn't know anything about where they were taken, it was frustrating. Mineo saw me bite my lip and he looked up as if he'd just recalled something.
あの3人もアドニスに言わせた罪人なわけだ。X デーの見せしめとして殺そうとしてる可能性もあるんだ。
Oh, I saw Ogata on a TV program earlier and he mentioned something like that. They might have collars placed on them, so that implies that they aren't dead yet.
もし生かしてるなら効果的に使う時のために監禁してるはずだ。同じ作りの首輪をつけられてる。その3人の居場所を割り出すこともできるんじゃねえ。
バカもちょっとは進化したか。結論から言うとできる。感づかれて反撃されたらアウトだけどな。
But we might still be able to save the 3 cops. They were shown on screen even when Fuji was murdered. They were wearing masks, but they must have heard the gunshots. They must have been fearful, wondering when they would be next. It must have been a living... Can we prioritize finding the collars for those three?
お前だってそんな首は早く外したいだろ。調べてることがあっちにバレたら危険なのは変わりないんだし。
Yes, but I think they're in a much more serious situation than I am. We can remove my collar once they've all been safely recovered.
今回ハッキングしたことは遅かれ早かれアドミス側も気づく。あっちも当然セキュリティの強化やシステム再構築の対策を取ってくる。今後は首輪を解除できなくなるリスクが伴うわけで。
I'm honestly afraid. But I'm not the only person who's afraid right now. Fear can't be the sole justification for me being saved first.
普通の女なら躊躇するとこそうやって断言しちまうんだろうな。お前ってほんと男らしくてムカつく。
What? I'm just saying what I'm thinking.
分かってるよ。別に怒ってるわけじゃなくて。俺が惚れた女はかっこいいなって再確認しただけ。
Why are you saying that at a time like this?
むしろこんな時だからこそそう思ったの。
You too, Yanagi?
で、どうすんの？早いとこどっちを優先するか決めろ。
Don't mind me for now. Prioritize finding the whereabouts of the other three officers.
ちょっと待った。それってさ、同時進行ってわけにもいかねえか。
Oh, come on. Come on, mouse. Work with me. Gotta snooze these ads. There we go. Huh?
だからさ、3人の行方を探すにしても、首輪を外すにしても、大元のシステムに侵入しなきゃいけないんだろ。タケルがそっちを受け持ってる間、俺は3人の行方を探す。物理的にな。
You're going to look? How are you going to do that without any leads?
手がかりならあるぜ。最初の声明で、アドニスは新宿区を再生の足がかりにするって言ってただろ。だとしたら、拉致された3人が新宿内に監禁されててもおかしくない。
今日はやけに頭が働くな。一生分使ったんじゃないか。
好きな女の命がかかってるんです。必死になるのは当たり前だ。
Mineo maintained the serious expression on his face despite Sasuzuka's biting sarcasm. It reassured me to know that he was so focused on helping me.
新宿と一言で言っても範囲が広い。さすがに榎本一人じゃ厳しいだろ。
それは野生の勘っていうか気力と根性で何とかします。
無理をするな。微力だから俺も調査に協力する。
Huh? Yanagi, you too? Are you sure?
俺がお前たちを放っておけると思うか。
Mineo and I are moved by Yanagi's kindness.
あの3人の捜索を優先するのはいいが、そもそもアドニスのネットワークに侵入するには俺の私物だけじゃ限界がある。
What? Really?
相手だと。それに捜査本部の再犯がターゲットの居場所特定のために動いてる。手っ取り早く済ますならそこと連携するのが確実だ。
That's true. Minagishi also told me that getting Sasuzuka's help would be the best.
タケル、お前は嫌かもしんねえけど、捜査本部と協力してくれたりしない？
目を潤ませてしなだれかかるみたい。キモ、死ぬ。
Sasuzuka, I'd like to ask you that too. Can you please help with the investigation?
やってやるよ。
Thank you, Sasuzuka.
俺は信じてたぜ。
Huh?
ギブアンドテイクに決まってんだろ。前に俺が言ったこと忘れたのか。
What you said before. When Mineo bowed down to him, Sasazuka said that Mineo had to be his handservant and that his help cost 10 donuts. I think that's what the conditions were.
今回の見返りは高くつくぞ。それ相応の金を用意しとけ。
それは友達割とか適用されたりしませんか？
誰と誰がお友達だって。
Oh, Sasazuka.
今すぐギャーギャー騒ぐんじゃねえ。
Yanagi had been quietly watching over this exchange, and he suddenly spoke up.
捜査本部と協力するからな。星野の首輪についても明かす必要があるな。
Oh.
とりあえず峯岸さんにも話す。バカ猫もそれでいいの？
Yes. Since they'd be cooperating with the police, we couldn't withhold our information.
なお、このことは警察に口外しないでください。こちらもむやみに手をかけたくはない。
But I didn't want to tell the police about this. I didn't want to cause myself extra trouble. If this information gets back to Adonis, I may be killed immediately. But I believed that this was a good opening, so I took the chance.
不安だよな。どんな言葉も今の僕にとっちゃだ。だから俺は行動で示す。お前と同じように首輪をつけられたやつを必ず探し出して
His words were filled with a powerful determination, so I nodded. Yes. We had all joined force in an attempt to release the people from their collars. All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and... Oh, hold on. I need to save. There we go. There we are. All right, you guys, that's where we're going to end for today. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I think we are going to go ahead and raid Pastor Dustin today. It's one word, yeah? Yeah. He is playing Luigi's Mansion, and we... Actually, you know what? Let me see if he is still live. Let me see if he is still live, because if he is, then I want to... Yes! Alright, we're gonna actually end up rating our favorite Doctor, Save the Lost. Alright, you guys, if you are subbed, here is your raid message. If you are not, there is your raid message. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. You guys are fantastic. We will be back tomorrow with some more of this. And it'll be a fun time. It'll be a fun time. So I will see you guys then. I'm attempting to get back to where... There we go. Oh, come on. My mouse is acting up. Oh, well. I'll just do this one. I'll do this. Alright. Donna raid. And then... There we go. And then I can copy and paste it that way because my mouse is acting up. Alright, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Give STL my best. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And always remember, God loves you and so do I.